I grew up in the country, so I saw a lot of stars as a kid. And also, I was pretty much a major science fiction fan then, so I really wanted to get out into space when I was young. I mean, especially, I didn't like everyone else, I wanted to get out into space. But astronomy is really friggin' hard. I mean, there's math that's evil. I mean, got cosines and sines and all of that sort of evil stuff. But fortunately, there's really cool people that actually have been there before. Because if it was left to me, we'd still be stuck back in the Stone Age. I mean, pi r round, people. Pi r round. Anyway, the chemicals, and there's all kinds of chemistry involved with astronomy, as well as all kinds of light wavelength and that sort of thing. Even some really neat, really cool stellar physics involved. But still, it's a matter of getting it all into one area in the right container, giving it a proper stir, and then pretty much eventually you'll turn any nebula, well, not as necessarily any nebula. I like this one. This is the Medusa Nebula. Anyway, turn it in, and you'll eventually turn it into a nice little stellar system with planets, as far as the current theory goes. In fact, here's our little home right here in San Francisco. And, I just had to show this shot. It's, the Earth at night. But anyway, it's really big out there. I mean, it is obnoxiously, rudely, irritatingly big sometimes. I mean, it's mind-boggling with AUs and light years and even that's teeny measurements by galactic universal standards. I mean, it's really, 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 really fucking huge out there. So you're going to have to actually, if you want to throw a party, you're going to have to plan for it in advance. So, depends on how you're going to do it. But every wizard was a newbie once. So you got to start somewhere, and who knows, anybody might actually figure stuff out. But you got to wonder about, with all the distance involved, why would anybody bother to come? I mean, and if we got there, what makes you think that they're going to be really happy to see us? I mean, of course, some people would say that, they've been here all along and they're after you. But enough of that. No need to be so serious. Once we get out there, like it or not, we're bringing us with us. I mean, there's desolate parts of the Earth eventually that are going to have to be gotten rid of, but thank God there's wonderful parts, men that have gone there before, because we really needed to get to the moon. I mean, after all, for a long time we thought it was like cheese or cookies or something like that. You've got to figure out, the moon is kind of wondering, why aren't we coming back and visiting? But, well, God knows that everything is really, really, really expensive. I mean, some people are saying we're pissing off all kinds of money, which has a certain amount of irony considering how close we just came with Russia and all, with this lovely little meteor that decided to pay us a visit. But we've got all kinds of missions out there. My favorite happens to be the Cassini mission, going out to Saturn, which I'll talk about later. Once we started getting out there, we realized our little moon was dinky. And actually, at the time, if they're renaming stuff, who was the guy that didn't come up with scientists? Anyway, we got dear little Mercury, the fastest little planet that runs around the system so quick that it was named so after the messengers of the gods. Then we got Venus, Aphrodite, the goddess of love. And well, it's kind of fitting that's like one of the most evil places in the solar system. And then, once we get our ass to Mars, we've sent a couple good probes. We had to get to Mars. We had to get past his two little horses here, Phobos and Deimos. But we're pretty good. Went out of our way. The Curiosity rover brought us a lot of really fun, interesting stuff. Of course, we're just going to be humans when once we got there, and like I said, one of those things, they might not necessarily want us there. And you got to actually think about that poor little itty bitty probe. I mean, it's been there and still working wonderfully for for how long? And then, of course, we got to go off to the asteroid belt. And the asteroid belt is something that basically Jupiter beat the crap out of and wouldn't let form, and then used it as pot shots against us. But of course, Jupiter's wonderful, being the god of the planets, and we gotta take a closer look at its, because it's got these two beautiful Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto. But on our way out to dear Saturn, which is always a favorite. Dear Saturn, he is a titan, not necessarily a god, which is a precursor to gods as opposed to demigods and all of that. But in one another, he's Kronos. He's the father time. And boy, does he have a bajillion moons. But as far as mythology goes, well, as we go a little bit further, we talk about the ice giants. And, well, Odin's rather pissed off about the fact, and he says that Uranus and, more importantly, Neptune get to stay as gas giants. Okay, Uranus. It actually spins perpendicular to all the other planets, which is really, really cool. And then we got our dear Lord of the Sea, and so forth and so on. And, well, enough about mythology, for now. Considering how small we are in the universe, I mean, this is one of the coolest. There's a little itty-bitty dot up in the corner of this shot that's actually the last thing that Voyager saw. And, of course, like I said, there's a whole bunch of moons out there left to explore, as well as this big, lovely sun in the middle, all ready for us to take advantage of, so to speak. But who have I forgotten? Oh yeah. How about you, Mr. Pluto? Yeah. You and all those other little dwarf planets that, well, if it was left to me, you'd all be planets. But, they got to get together and figure these things out and decide what's what, because there's just too many. And so the International Astronomical Union got together and declared Pluto not to be a planet, which, it's got to kind of piss it off a little bit, But where do we go from here? Well, that's pretty simple. We got to get out into outer space, and outer space. I mean, just by what we can tell, there's a whole bunch of them out there, including some that might be in the habitable zone. Before we got to get out there quickly, because, well, our star is pretty good, and hopefully, if we don't do it right, we won't have to go the way of the dinosaur. Anyway, bye.